Welcome, everyone, to the Lobby Up podcast. My name is Lewis, and I'm here with my best friend, Matt. We are beyond excited to present our first episode ever. Today is all about Bethesda's newest outing, Starfield. And as a special treat, we have the one, the only, Phil Spencer.
No, Lewis, no.
What?
I told
What?
you, bro.
What?
Phil never confirmed with us.
What do you mean he didn't confirm?
Bro, I reached out to his secretary. She yelled at me on the phone, bro. I cried.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, we can do this. We can do this. Roll the intro.
You guys ready? Lobby up.
Hey guys, lobby up.
GG's, lobby up.
Dude, we gotta lobby up.
Lobby up.
Hey, should we lobby up?
Yo, lobby up.
Lobby up, y'all.
Hey, let's grab a beer. Lobby up. You guys don't get Phil Spencer, but you get us. So let's get right into it, man. Let's go ahead and talk Starfield, Mr. Matt.
Let's talk about the intro and that crazy, amazing, beautiful start screen.
That start screen is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It really makes you feel like you're in space.
That start screen made me cry when I first saw it. Just straight up cried.
That start screen, I honestly felt like I was a new human. It was out of body experience.
I felt that I was in the field of stars. So the freaking start screen, dude. Yeah, listen, if you don't know, let them know, Matt.
So this guy, Mr. Kern, he's got the Twitter handle Grumz, Grummz. He went off about the physiognomy of start screens. And he said that the start screen of a game can reveal a lot about how rushed the team was and how much pride they took in their work. Starfield's start screen either shows hasty shipping deadlines by a passionate team overworked or a team that didn't care. But I just have to ask, where did you even get this from? Because the only thing that I even think about when I see a start screen is how quick can I get away from the start screen because I want to play the game. I don't understand where is he coming from with this, bro.
I mean, dude, you've never turned on a video game, looked at the start screen and said, no, I don't want to play this game anymore. This start screen sucks.
I not once, not never. I mean, OGs will remember the start screen on Kingdom Hearts and that beautiful music, but that's really the only start screen that I can even remember. I don't know. It's so hard not to compare to past Bethesda games. Like for me, if this guy's going to criticize Starfield's start screen, then I think about Fallout's. And Fallout, in my memory, it was a good one. You're just showing like a video pan of like a set, not the armor, but the garage. Yeah, the armor and the garage and all that stuff where you meet Dogmeat, and it was a good one. But it literally has the same like selection screen as Starfield does on the side. So I don't
some
really.
People, dude. Some people just want to stroke their ego, and
I think so.
Because what is he? He's an ex-developer for like World of Warcraft and what's the other one? StarCraft. So
right.
He just wanted to, I know more than thou on Twitter, and people roasted him as they should.
As they should.
The title screen was fine, everybody. It's a fine title screen. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, man.
It literally doesn't matter.
yeah. I clicked start and friggin' moved on to the game. So let's talk game, man. How much time did you put in Starfield this time around?
So I'm like just shy of 11 hours at this time right now of recording.
Nice, man. Nice. Dude, didn't you get a brand new freaking PC just to play Starfield?
Yes, man. I built this guy. I mean, I had been wanting to do this since I was 18 years old. All my friends that were like super into gaming would talk about it, and they'd talk about the costs and stuff. And now that I have big boy money, I'm able to splurge.
Hey,
and,
man,
it was worth it.
Rightfully so, dude. Rightfully so. But how was playing Starfield on that bad boy?
Honestly, so, and I'll talk about this later, but it's not just that I'm playing a new game. I'm like learning how to play game on something that I've never played on before. I've only played like Flash games on a computer. I've never pid something of this scale on
miniclip.com.
Newgrounds.
Oh god. Oh no. There was a lot of awakenings on that website.
But yeah, no, it's honestly, it's such a treat. Honestly, like I'm gonna have a hard time not playing games on my PC nowadays.
Fair
Like
enough,
I
man.
get the master race.
Hey, hey, welcome to the Xbox ecosystem, my friend, with that Game Pass, bro.
Yes, yeah, this is my Xbox. it's my
Yeah.
it's my Xbox and my PC. So
Well, speaking of Xbox, I do too have a PC, but I decided to go ahead and play Starfield on my Series X. Call me what you guys want. I'm a console pleb, yada yada yada. But I do enjoy playing on my big screen in the living room on the comfort of my own couch. That's just me. But I was able to play about 15 hours. If you look at my Xbox profile, you'll see that it says roughly 20. But with two kids, man, that gosh,
nah,
I
the
think
dad life.
God, man, four or five of those hours were me chasing around toddlers around the house and stopping in the middle of a firefight trying to take care of them. So honestly, about
You
15
entered
hours.
you entered a whole different Starfield.
Dude, freaking for real, man.
The Starfield was really just the kids that we scolded along the way.
Listen, the Starfield is when your toddler's like, "Hi, Dad," wants to give you a hug and rams right in it, man, right into the right into the you know what. That you see all the Starfields. But anyways, man, how did you feel about those first couple hours, dude? Like the lack of a tutorial. That's something a little new.
So I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure I spent at least like 45 minutes just in character design. And I think that the craziest thing about having a game that's this advanced and gives you so much freedom and has all this new technology that they're showing off and throwing around with being able to like blend all the different presets and stuff and expand all these aspects is you're really stuck with your own perception of yourself.
Oh,
And
jeez, man.
I started designing my character, and I called my wife. Well, you know my wife, Sierra. So I was like, Sierra, come in here and help me out. And she, literally, no joke, comes in just like, Matt, you look Hispanic. I was like, crap. Well, can you help me? And I had to spend like another good 20 minutes, and then you get through all of that, and then it's like, okay, now tell us the core of your person and tell us all of your traits and tell us about what kind of background you have. And I'm like, crap, now I have to think about, I'm just having like an existential crisis after figuring out what I even look like. And it's just a huge investment in an hour, and you're not even started in the game yet.
Yeah, and like I said, there's no tutorial, no nothing. They just throw you in there, you firefight for a little bit, and then it's just like boom, character creator right then and there, right on the spot. Listen, there's worse things that your character could have been. I asked my wife, Johnny Lay, for those, you guys don't know her, but I'm like, hey, does this guy look like me? And she's like, kind of, if your guy hasn't taken a shower for like 30 days. And I'm like, oh jeez, dude.
That oily.
Dude, he looked dirty and like unkept, and here I am trying to be like a suave space cowboy a la Cowboy Bebop. Like,
Did you put dirt on his face?
No, that's the worst part.
Because there is an option for that if you don't know.
No, I didn't put dirt. He looked a little scruffy. I even put the long curly hair on him. Like, I really wanted to be a space, like, again, space cowboy, but not in the way the game presents it. If you guys have seen Cowboy Bebop, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then you're wrong. Go ahead and do that. So that's the character I'm playing. I went with Space Scoundrel, I think it was.
Okay, for your background. What traits did you pick?
So I went with Extrovert, Empath, and what is it? The Church of Enlightenment. Literally did that.
Right, like your religion in real life.
I mean, I'm not an atheist, but I mean, sure. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not. But I only did it for the treasure, and the treasure was whack. I kind of regret like picking it just for the treasure. I could have. I really wanted to do Alien Blood.
Yeah, I actually did. I did pick Alien Blood, and I picked Introvert and Dream Home, and I picked Dream Home because I actually have about that much debt in real life. I was like trying to keep my character grounded and as close to me as possible, and I was like, yeah, I'm introverted, and yeah, I have alien blood.
Yeah, you have alien blood. I mean, there's only one of us that has alien blood, and it's not you.
I guess I have a little alien in me.
Oh no. Jeez. Well, hey, listen. Out of those three things, the one that is further out of reach is probably Dream Home.
Yeah.
But
I
how
haven't
you
even
like
seen
it?
what it looks like in the game yet, so.
Do you regret any of your decisions? I definitely regret the raised enlightenment. It wasn't worth the spot. Now I got to go find how to get another trait because that was a waste of a trait.
Yeah, so I think that the extrovert and empath was a really good like synergy choice. And this isn't spoiling anything for anyone who doesn't know yet, but basically, if you're an empath, you have you have a better
You get
ability. If you're
bonuses.
okay, yeah. If what like with different
You
characters,
have to so for empath you get bonuses for choosing the right dialogue choice.
okay,
So like um if somebody likes something that you said, you get an extra bonus here and there. Like it's
nice.
small little bonuses that go a long way. I really like the extrovert one better because you're constantly with a partner. I think most of the time, I think 99% of my playthrough so far has been with a partner. And that extrovert perk, anytime you have somebody with you, you gain more XP, you gain it quicker. It's been a godsend. I love those two together.
Yeah. And I'm kind of regretting picking introvert to try to like stick to like who I am in real life because yeah, you're constantly with someone. But it says if you're with a human companion. So if I just bring the robot with me, I might be good.
True. Dude, can we talk about that robot for a second? I think I've talked to Vasco more than any other NPC,
Really?
including my favorite NPC, which my favorite NPC so far is Samco, the cowboy.
Mhm.
I thought I was gonna hate him. Like I saw him and I'm like, he looks like a character I'm gonna dislike. But as it progressed, I really enjoyed having him as my partner. But Vasco, dude, I keep him on my ship at all times. He's just so, beep beep boop boop. I love him.
and elaborate on those beeps and boops for me, Lewis. Like,
So when he beeps and he boops, it makes me feel like I'm back at the title screen. It just makes me feel
ah,
whole. Makes
right,
me feel
floating
whole. I
through
love it.
space. Yes.
No, he reminds me. He's just very calculated. Very like, if the more you talk to him, which oddly enough, he has a lot of dialogue options when you talk to him, more so than any other character that I've come across. Like you can talk to him for a good minute, and he's even surprised that you talked to him for as long as I did. Um, yeah, and he's very insightful. One of the dialogue options that he had was you can ask him a question like, what do you think the greatest inventions what do you think are the greatest inventions that humans ever made? And I was so surprised by his answer because it was so correct. I The first one I remember right off the bat, he said the airplane. He said because with the invention of the airplane, that allowed us to explore the stars and leave planet Earth. And without that invention, no aviation would have happened. No rockets, no nothing. And I believe he said number two. And someone can correct me, but I believe he said number two was books. Books was the
Okay.
second most important invention because that allowed us to share our knowledge. And
Okay.
I never really thought about that question, but it was very insightful for the robot, the
Yeah.
non-human to answer that question for me. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I just think that those are like the tidbits and moments of gameplay that we play these games for. When you get those type of deeper interactions that you don't expect. Like for me, like whenever I'm traveling and scavenging and I'm finding these books that have these handwritten notes, you kind of get more of a deeper feel for some of the NPCs, some of the characters that you're playing with. They might have some type of interaction or story that they've written about, and you get these kind of details and discussions with these characters. So that's pretty cool for me.
Bethesda's a masterclass of storytelling through your surroundings. Like they do that so well, and I got some stories of some places I found later on. We can talk about
Oh
that
yeah.
a bit
Oh
more.
yeah.
But they're really good at that, and they're good at thought provoking moments like I said with Vasco, a robot. But I think that Starfield as a whole, whether you're in the the camp of it's amazing, it's great, or the camp of oh, like it's all right. Whatever camp you are, the one thing that you can't say about Starfield that it isn't almost awe-inspiring. Like something about humans leaving Earth and like going out to explore the cosmos through honestly technology that looks very feasible. I mean, I don't think we're a long ways off from a gravity drive that's gonna,
Sure.
but the ships look real. Like the ships look like something that NASA can build. The spacesuits look real. Everything looks grounded. Unlike most space games, and Bethesda's they're so good at that, and telling that story within a very plausible future for us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They definitely took. It looks like every time that the game starts up, they have a reference to NASA maps. Have you seen that?
What do you mean?
So whenever you're starting up the game, it looks like that they have a copyright reference to data, like space data from NASA.
Well, I did hear that they were pulling a lot of data. Like I do remember that. Now that you're saying that, I remember hearing for a while that like a lot of their physics, a lot of their quote unquote science that's in the game is grounded through NASA studies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously it's a sci-fi game, so a lot of creative license there, but I do agree. I think that they take a lot of what they developed this game around based off of as close as they could simulating a realistic experience.
But so what do you think about the overall gameplay? Like the actual meat, like the gameplay, the gunfighting, all that. What do you think?
Getting into talking about like PC gaming for me, it's also, again, this is my first time on a PC game.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the first missions that you start. You land on this planet and you're going to go intercept like these pirates and get them to chill out. I'm landing on the planet and there's like this, probably the most basic monster that we will ever see in the entire game.
Yeah, probably.
And I think it's called a heat leech. And I'm getting ready to shoot it, and I'm still getting used to my controls. So I don't know if you have these types of memories, but like when you're a little kid and you're playing with your friends and you don't know the rules yet and you don't know the controls, but you're trying to play because you want to be involved in the game and you're young and you just want to play and have fun. And you're like, wait, I don't know how to do it. Like I kind of got taken. I got taken back to that because I'm learning a new way to play a game, but I mean, I didn't start yelling "wait" like that.
Lies.
You get the point. Yeah,
We caught you in 4K. We got it. Yeah, you were.
You were there at the scene of the crime.
You know what? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Like, I feel that this game has probably the best gunplay ever. So okay, let me rephrase that before I get dunked on. The best gunplay ever for a Bethesda game. I think it's
There
better than Fallout 4. With that being said, I think you chose a perfect time to get the accuracy of a mouse and keyboard for gunplay. To jump into a Bethesda game on a PC. Like the gunplay is sharp. Is it the most precise thing in the whole world? No, but it's pretty dang precise for a Bethesda game. I feel that the guns all feel different. No two gun feels exactly the same. My personal favorite gun is the God. It's modeled after the Desert Eagle, but I think it's called I want to say it's called the Earth Eagle or something. I don't know, but it's a nice, good old pistol.
I'm mostly just impressed that you remembered any of the guns' names at all.
Fair enough. I mean, listen, it's close. It's close. I know someone's gonna correct me, and I'm cool with that. I don't remember the exact name, but it's a nice pistol, and that's actually one of the scoundrel perks is that you're good with pistols. So
Nice.
like a la Han Solo.
There you go.
Even though that's not what I'm going for, but
Did you draw first in your first battle?
Oh God. You want to talk about drawing first on my first battle? Do I got a story for you guys? So, one of the perks that that you get for Scoundrel is Persuasion, and it was the first. I think it was the same planet that you were talking about. You go talk to these pirates, and they're like, "Oh, we want to find
At
Baron."
the end, when you're trying to convince them to get
Yeah.
away from the ship, right?
Yeah, so it's like you go up to them, you go through all these gunfights, and you know, you end up on the roof, and they're like, and by the way, this is super early gameplay, everybody. Like, don't feel
Yeah.
like we're spoiling anything
Not
crazy.
spoiler.
Yeah, it's very early on. So I get to the top, and the pirates leader for that base is like, "Hey, like, we want your ship, we want the frontier, yada yada yada," and I was able to convince them to leave me alone. And I was cool with that, man. I was like, all right, you leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. We'll be on our merry way. Nobody has to get hurt.
Lewis, did you shoot them?
Kinda. So I was gonna let him go. And he said, "If I ever see you again, I'll kill you." And I took that personally. So, up until that point, I just had a gun. I just had a pistol. And I'm like, all right, you're going to let me go. And if you see me again, you're going to kill me. I'm like, I can't take that chance. So I
Guess you just saw me again, didn't you?
So I freaking, I started rummaging around, and I find a shotgun. And I'm like, perfect. So I freaking like walk behind him, point the shotgun right at his stupid pirate head. And you know the rest. Lights out, baby.
And now that you're mentioning the shotgun, honestly, I think that's been my favorite. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like double barrel, and
I think
you
it's like
can
a Coachman or something like that.
Yes, that's exactly it. A coach, yeah. So I have loved that thing. I have ran out of bullets on other guns that just shoot really fast and don't do enough damage. But dang, that shotgun,
It feels
I
nice.
I shoot them twice in the face, and that is it. I have not run low on shells. I have been running low on enemies though, because it has just been killing. I love it.
Dude, it's freaking awesome. Have you run into any sort of rare items, anything at all like that? Anything that's worth remembering?
Well, yes and no. Like, the game tells me it's rare, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like comparing stats to my old helmet and my new helmet that's apparently rare, and I'm like, this isn't that good.
Yeah,
So
old
I've
helmet.
gotten several of those, but nothing to write home about.
I wouldn't call it rare because what is it? Blue is like,
Yeah, I don't
you know
know.
how it goes. Blue. It
The
was blue.
stars.
I've
Okay.
gotten a couple of the yellow, gold, legendary, rare stuff. Nothing to write home about. But I found this blue revolver, and it's basically a sniper, and it feels.
Nice.
And because I have the scoundrel perks, my pistol game, like my pistol perks are awesome. Like I do extra damage, like 15% damage, all that good stuff. So it's like an overpowered sniper, and it's been basically letting me blow through everybody, like just headshot after headshot, and I'm just like, I feel that I'm playing on easy mode even though I'm playing on hard mode.
That's awesome. That's pretty sick, dude.
But moving more into the technical aspects, can we talk about how jarring that the 30 frames per second was? Oh well, you probably didn't have that problem on your PC, but on the Series X, we are locked at 30 frames per second, which I'm not one of those people that, you know, I'm not gonna get out my pitchforks and my torches and riot over 30 frames per second. But most of the games I play on the Xbox Series X, I'm playing at 60 frames per second. I'm playing on a 4K TV. So like I'm used to a certain level of visuals. And let me tell you, it took me a couple, I think like 2 hours before I got used to 100% that 30 frames per second.
I would imagine it would be going into that, but I have had no issues with it. It's been very seamless, very beautiful. I've been mostly just completely just captivated by the environments that I've been in. You know, you go into a ship, and scavenging is a huge part of like any Bethesda game.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, like, I feel in this game more than ever, they've really shown off their way to like make what they're putting somewhere make sense. You can tell they've always tried to do that in past games, but in this game, if you're not in like the little scanner mode where you can make everything light up in blue, then you can easily like glance over something that you can actually interact with or take. And I find that really cool, and just it's really detailed. I just think it's little things like this just kind of like tickle my little my nerd sense. And like, you'll pick up a deck of cards and you're looking at the weight of it, and it's 0.52. And I was like, 52 cards.
Oh,
I get
dude,
it.
I didn't notice that. Good
Yeah.
observation there. I did not notice that.
Yeah, little things like that. I'm just like, I see what you did there. It makes me happy. But
Well,
yes, just to say, like, I personally have not had having any
good,
issues.
yeah. And honestly, I haven't really ran into any bugs. I did pull up onto a planet, and two of the Freestar Collective ships were just like spinning in the air, both of them. Just it looks like
Yeah.
they like rammed into each other at Mach speed, bounced off each other, and were just twirling off into the abyss. And you're just like you're just flying by like doo, 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 and then all you see is you're just like, oh shit, oh shit. So that was the one and only like really good bug. And as guys that play, we've played most Bethesda games. I actually started playing Bethesda games all the way back on the original Xbox, Elder Scrolls Morrowind. That's my first taste of Bethesda games, and you're used to those Bethesda bugs. But
Oh,
I'll be
yeah.
honest, man, like I haven't really seen too many bugs. Um, Thankfully no stutter on the frame rates. Like it's been a pretty consistent 30 frames per second, which at the bare minimum they should strive to achieve that. I
Mhm.
will say there is one glitch, and before I get into that glitch, I want to praise Bethesda for the first time ever, and we're talking all the way from Morrowind. I am actually enjoying the third person view. I like when I'm in this.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, man. No, like
Gross.
I don't know what it is. Like it actually looks good this time. So my guy is dressed in a nice dapper uh green suit. One of the space suits that you get in New Atlantis. It looks awesome. So when I'm hanging around a settlement, I want to show off my suit. So and I want to see my suit. So during that time, like when I'm exploring and traversing, I'll do third person to kind of see my character. But when I'm doing gunplay, it's all first person.
That's
So
fair. I
yeah.
mean, I definitely get like wanting to see all this stuff that you spend all this time trying to design.
Yeah.
You're picking methodically all these pieces of your character, and then you never look at them when you're in first person. So
Exactly. And
I get
granted,
that.
I used to not really care, but again, this time around, third person actually looks pretty good. If you haven't given it a chance, like I said, when you're just in a settlement hanging around, third person looks good. But when third person sucks for gunplay, I did not like that. So I switched
Yeah.
between the two. It's a touch of a button. It's not that difficult to do. But there is a glitch. When I'm running in third person, for some whatever reason, my character's head is turned like straight to the left, and it's just running with like looking to the left, and I'm like, why is that happening? So like, I'll try to fix the camera, and like,
He's
I'll
racing a ghost.
that's what it looks like. He's like looking at the person running next to him, and then I'll face the camera to the front, and he'll look at the camera, and it'll fix the glitch. But his pupils are still looking to the left, and he just looks like I don't know. He looks like he's suspicious as the person next to him. Like I don't understand why, but that's the one like glitch that is kind of getting on my nerves. But it's Bethesda. What can you do?
I mean, personally, I haven't experienced any bugs really at all, and that's pretty surprising. Like you said, getting used to the Bethesda bugs. I really applaud the developers for not spending so much time on the loading screen and spending more time on not having bugs in the game.
Yeah, God, that. True.
Like who cares about the start screen anyway? But no, I really have not experienced any difficulties with that. What I will say is I think that at times maybe there could have been a little bit more emphasis in the gameplay instructions. So we've talked about how there is not much of a tutorial in this game, right? They kind of throw you into it, which I like. I like that ability to just kind of trust that if you're going to play a game this big, you know how to move around, you know how to aim your gun.
Press Y to jump.
Exactly. So, but what I didn't like is when they're introducing a new concept, they sometimes just let you not they just like let you go, and they don't teach you exactly what to do. So for me, when in this game, if you're going to pick lock, It's called digipicking.
Oh
And
god,
the
the
first
digipicking.
digipicking sequence that you do, they do not explain that all of the teeth of your pick has to line up if you're going to use it. And so I just didn't even get the actual premise of how to do what I was doing. And I wound up wasting like a half dozen
Oh
digipicks
no.
just trying to do the one, and it's like literally novice difficulty, and it's just because I didn't know how to even do it.
Dude, those so you're with a Bethesda game, you're used to a certain level of consistency, and god, for years the lockpick mechanic has been the same across Fallout, across Skyrim. So you come to freaking Starfield and you're like, oh, it's gonna be another lockpick, it's gonna be the same. Dude,
Right.
that digipick system took me a hot minute to like really nail down and figure it out. I
Yeah.
lost out on some good loot because I just didn't, and they're hard to come by. I
Yeah.
swear with Fallout they're everywhere. Like they're just,
Yeah.
you open up a chest, there's a freaking lockpick there. Starfield, it's like I am searching high and low for those digipicks. I will say this, if you level up your digipick perks in the skill tree, it
Yeah.
really helps. It goes a long way. um
Oh yeah.
it's much easier. Just going to level 2 on your skill for lockpicking is will make it infinitely easier.
I'm sure it probably helps. I just wanted to know how to even play. And I feel like I didn't even get that. And just while I'm on the subject, the only other thing that I had where we don't really get this tutorial, and that's fine. For the most part, it really didn't matter. But then you have again specific aspects of gameplay in this game that I felt could have used a little nudge, a little
Yeah.
reminder. And there's one point where you're in a mission. I think it's right after that space pirate thing you were talking about. You need to grav drive, like warp to another area. And I shit you not, I sat there for like 5-10 minutes just trying to figure out what I was doing wrong, because I was like, okay, go into missions and set your destination, and now power up your grav drive. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. And then it says like pending power up grav drive. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Go ahead and power up grav drive. And it was not telling me that I need to divert power away from my other parts of my ship to the grav section. And that I was missing that connection, because it's a very small thing that they told you about for 5 seconds like an hour prior in the game. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. And then you have a moment later on where you have to like stealthily approach the satellite beacon.
Oh
And
yeah.
it gives you a hint, though. It's like, oh, well, if you want to be stealthy, you can power down all your systems except for it specifically said, except for 1 or 2 bars of power in your engines. I'm like, so you give me specific hints here that are super helpful and very short and succinct, but you can't just tell me to divert power wait to like the grav. I found that really weird, that there was that inconsistency and frustrating. But as far the gameplay is there, but I think in the beginning, when you're still trying to grasp every aspect, they could have just gave you a little pop-up there.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, there's plenty of instances where they could have definitely elaborated a little bit more. For me, definitely the digipick. I was pretty good on the spaceships. I felt fine with that. The menus for me, man, took me a hot minute to get used to where everything is on this menu. Having to go through the menu to eat, which I did hear that Bethesda is going to allow you to look at food and eat it right there on the overworld. But for me, it's the menus. Like I feel like it's menus upon menus upon menus, and it really takes me out of the game sometimes, and it loses me.
Yeah.
I have gotten used to it now. About 15 hours in, I can go to any part of the menu that I want, do what I need to do. But that took a little longer than I'm used to in terms of an RPG.
Or just selecting a different weapon.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Thankfully, they have the favorite wheel, but even then, like it's just a little off. The
Yeah.
menus in this game are a little off, even more so than other games in the past. I think this is an unpopular opinion, but I think Skyrim was pretty good. I like the way that they did the menus there. Like everything is kind of organized by section. I know Starfield did that, but it's just off. That's the only way I can describe it. So I think in terms of story so far, though, they're doing pretty well. I'm actually about 15 hours in. It was a slow burn with that story, man. It took me a little bit to get invested, and I think about the 6 or 7 hour mark, I went from being a little nervous about the game, like, oh man, like it's okay, to I liked it. And
Mhm.
about 7 hours in, I decided that I'm like, you know what, I like this game. And then now at the tail end of this, 15 hours, I'm starting to say that I'm starting to love the game. Like I'm excited to go back and play the game.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a game that draws you in, makes you want to come back for more.
Yeah, man. Honestly, one of my favorite parts so far that I'm enjoying, and I know you touched on that earlier, but some of the texts that you find in this game are hilarious. I have two instances of my favorite texts that I've seen. The first one, it was those little pads. First of all, I actually think these pads are kind of dumb, but it's like there's text on these little like square pads, and I think to myself like, why can't they just write on paper? And it's like it looks like a plastic pad. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They're like white. It's weird, but just use paper. Anyways, um, there was two pads in a base that I found, and the pad was called "Message for the Crimson Fleet," and it said, "I know we're known for being badasses, but clean up after yourself." And I thought it was funny, whatever. And the place was all messy. But then I found another one of those pads on the ground, and it literally said like the RE for reply on an email, and it said reply to clean your mess, and then all it said was ha 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 ha, no. And dude, and maybe because it was like 2 in the morning and I'm tired and sleep deprived, but I laughed harder than I should have over that stupid message alone in the dark by myself. I thought it was so funny. And then another book, or another text, but in this case it's a book. Have you encountered the bad joke book?
Yes, I have two of them.
Okay. All right, I got the first one because I brought it up. I've been so excited to tell you this killer joke, this killer bad joke. You ready?
Go ahead.
How do you keep an idiot in suspense?
How? I'm in so much suspense.
But
Oh, I get it.
thank you, round of applause. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Tip your waiters.
And these are the books of bad jokes.
Yes, I didn't say these were good jokes. These are bad jokes, people.
But yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like when you're finding these little books just randomly throughout every little space station that you're in, like those little details just tickle my nerd fancy. It's so good.
Do you remember any other of those bad jokes?
No, not off the top of my head.
I've been excited to tell you that joke from the beginning.
But yeah, bro. So I think the last story I have off the top of my head for this game so far is I was waiting for that characteristic Bethesda moment where you get to start, how do I put this delicately, psychologically manipulating someone until they want to marry you. And I found that moment with Sarah, and
oh God,
I was asking her, those good old personal questions, asking her.
Are you trying to bang Sarah?
Well, I'm asking her about her religion, putting her in the mood,
Oh my God.
And so that was totally my motivation. But then she hits me with this. She's talking about, having been out there in the Starfield, and I was like,
the thing. She said the thing.
She did the thing.
She said it.
And then I realized later that that guy that you save later also says the Starfield, and I'm like, man, you guys need to drop the. It's cleaner.
Yeah, everybody is like everyone's loving Sarah, by the way. That seems to be the best girl, but there is some competition later on.
I don't know. There's no competition with sexy Siri. That's what she
yes.
reminds me of.
So, oh, you know, speaking of sexy Siri, which is a weird transition to say, but I do want to touch on one more thing in terms of character models. People are like dunking on the character models and like, you know, calling them soulless and lifeless and terrible. And
What?
do they have weird moments that they do seem almost alien like? Sometimes, but it's no different from what I've seen in Skyrim, what I've seen in Fallout 4, Fallout 3. I guess if you play these Bethesda games, I feel like you're kind of immune to what everybody's talking about, because other than a few tiny minor instances, I haven't felt off put by the NPCs at all.
I have not at all. In every single one of my NPC interactions, I have felt like it's been very fluid. The facial expressions, the tone of voice, everything. I feel like it's been pretty on point.
Yeah, and again, I do think for somebody that has never played a Bethesda game ever, it may be a little jarring at first because you know, the camera zooms right in their face and they start just talking to you. But I
But
don't.
that's simulating you talking to a human being. Maybe you nerds need to have more conversations.
Yeah, right. Wait, you don't talk like that to people? Hi, how's it going? My name is Lewis. Do you want to go on a starship?
Hello, my name is Matt.
No, dude, it's been fine. I think it's been fine. I think it's a little overblown, and I think some people are just they're posting the worst screenshots they can possibly find at any given point in the game, and I don't think they're that bad. I think they're comparing it to games that use like motion capture, and this is all like all of these NPCs were programmed by a developer. They weren't motion captured, and it looks perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, I think it looks great. I think that's a very weird criticism of this.
Yeah, I don't know. People are gonna nitpick, but you know, while we're on the subject, like overall, how do you feel about the game? 10 hours in, how are you feeling?
Okay, so this is where I think I might have a little bit of a minority opinion. Maybe I might not. I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't really looked into what all the reviewers are saying, but so this is where I'm at. Okay. As much as I do like the game and I'm going to continue playing it and I do enjoy it, I actually view this as what I would expect a Bethesda game coming out in 2023 to play like. I have been pleasantly surprised by the lack of bugs this early on in release. That's been great, but that doesn't speak for the quality of the game. That's just something that we're surprised that day one a game is playing like it should. Like, great.
Which that's sad that
know?
that's the standard in 2023.
It really is. So with that in mind, I don't think that the NPCs have a weird interaction. I've found that to be very fluid. The gameplay has been fluid. I have not experienced any bugs personally. I feel like there's a great amount of detail in the game. I feel like the Bethesda characteristics, if you will, with the scavenging and the character design and the interactions with NPCs, the story, all of it has been very true. It does not feel like development of those aspects has been rushed. With that said, what I have read about people praising the game, calling this game, they've been calling it ambitious. That's the word I've been hearing a lot.
Yeah,
And
very much so.
I don't necessarily call it ambitious. I think
Really?
that this is more, I think that this is more so exactly what you should expect from a Bethesda game coming out in 2023. If I were to call this ambitious, I'd be closer to leaning on the idea of this being like that 10 out of 10 game. And I'm really not getting that yet. If it is that 10 out of 10 game, maybe it's too early for me to tell. But for me, 10 hours, 11 hours in, I'm leaning more toward this being kind of like an 8 out of 10. Personally, I think that this game, it's strong in the areas that a Bethesda game should be strong in.
Uh-huh.
But as far as it being a space exploration game, I guess I just have not gotten that extra level of capture that I've gotten in games that I've played earlier this year, such as like Tears of the Kingdom, um, and earlier on in that game. So I just, for me personally, I am right now kind of like leaning on the 8 out of 10 side.
Yeah, and an 8 out of 10 is pretty good, I would say.
Oh, it is. I'm not calling this a bad game by any means, but to call it ambitious, I think is a stretch.
For me, we've had years and years and years of hype for this game, and you, Matt, you know me more than anybody in terms of video games. I really do try to temper my expectations and not get sucked into that hype. Sometimes it happens and I can't control it. With Starfield, I have been cautiously optimistic since the beginning, since like it was first announced. I was burned with the hype for Cyberpunk. I was super hyped about that. I bought that game day one. I was so stoked. I got in the whirlwind of hype and I was just destroyed by how bad the game was. And people say all the time like, oh, it's good now, and they're about to they're about to release Cyberpunk 2.0 for free, and it feels like a brand new game. And it's like, yes, like that is great, that's awesome. I still have the game there. Maybe one day I'll muster up the courage to put in the disc and play it again. But they lost me in the beginning, and that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Even going back to another space exploration game, No Man's Sky, man.
Oh,
I was so stoked for that game when it first came out. And listen, props to Hello Games. They have turned it around, and it is apparently just an overall pleasure to play. But it took them, gosh, what is that? 8 years now? Set 9? I'm losing track of time, but it took
Yeah.
years and years and years for them to make the game what it is now. And I don't doubt that that game is amazing, but they lost me in the beginning. So
Yeah.
going back to Starfield, this is a great start to this game. I think the game that we got, like vanilla Starfield in our hands right now in this moment, I think it's a great game. Is it going to be an all-time classic? Maybe to some. Is it going to be somebody's favorite Bethesda game? I believe so. Is it my favorite Bethesda game? I would say no, it's not my favorite Bethesda game. It's probably not even in my top 10 favorite games of all time, but I'm really enjoying this game. I'm really loving what it's about. I love that NASA, what do you want to call it? The NASA punk, the NASA core, like that aesthetic that it has, the film grain in, the film grain that overlays the visuals. This game is great. I would probably say about 8 out of 10 as well. I think that is a perfectly reasonable score as of now. Listen, we're at the tip of the iceberg. Excuse the cliche, but we're right there in the beginning. Heck, maybe in another 100 hours or in 200 hours, my score may drop. My score may go higher. It may stay the same. But overall, my early impressions of this game are, I would say, mostly positive, man.
Oh yeah, definitely mostly positive. I was mostly just with my criticisms there, just kind of addressing the specific wording that I've heard in the praise that I have read up on. Because when I think about ambitious, I'm thinking of like pushing the borders that we see in game development, right? Like
Yeah.
I think a game that would be that off the top of my head that would be ambitious for its time would be like Mario 64 or like Ocarina of Time. Like those games were ambitious because
Breath
at
of the
time,
Wild.
honestly, yeah, Breath of the Wild, and you keep coming back to these amazing games that are pushing the boundary. That's what I think it takes to be a 10 out of 10, because that's not saying the game is perfect. It just means that for its time, it's better than the rest. It's
Yes.
at the top. And those games, those are the timeless games. They're the games that you
absolutely.
remember.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the scale that I'm keeping in mind when I'm thinking about like if I was going to assign a number to this game.
For sure. And again, let me emphasize with mostly positive. There is a lot that I was disappointed with for the game. I think the number one thing that just irks me about this game is just the menus, man. So many menus. You want to space travel? You got to go to the menu. You want to go to another star system? You got to go to the menu. You want to land your ship? Go to the menu. Want to dock? Go to the menu. It's like please just let me fly my ship. I
It
thought that
interrupts the flow of your game.
absolutely, man. And that would be my biggest criticism. The Once you land on a planet, it is awesome that you can just explore this planet. Can you explore the whole planet? No. Should you explore the whole planet? Probably not. I'm not trying to spend my entire playthrough of Starfield on one planet. Like, I think the little bite-sized pieces that you get in these different planets is good enough for me. But let me fly to the planet. Like, let me,
Yeah.
when you grav jump, let me, let there be a small like mini game that you can play if you want to, like something. There needs to be something with the space travel, because again, I was cautiously optimistic, and I was rightfully so. I would hate to be that player that came to this game with this like overblown expectations that it is like it's just Everspace or it's just No Man's Sky. Like it's a Bethesda RPG at heart. If you like Bethesda RPGs, 15 hours in, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna love this game, and you're gonna love it, or you're gonna like it a lot. If this is your first Bethesda game, there's gonna be some growing pains, and you will, I believe that you will learn to really like this game. If you hate Bethesda games, this is not the game for you.
I mean, if you hate Bethesda games, you know by now whether you like this style or not. And yeah, I mean, stay away because it's true and true through and through a Bethesda game. Yeah, stay
All right,
away if you
man.
don't like Bethesda games.
So overall, I'm excited about what's to come. We are 15 hours in,
Absolutely.
200 to go. I want to say I've this will be a game
It's a
that I'll be
huge
playing.
game.
Yeah, I'll be playing this
Huge
game
game.
for a while, and you'll be hearing from us our final impressions later down the line. We'll give you some updates on how our gameplay is going.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. I mean, we're never going to run out of stuff to be talking to all
Yeah,
of you
for
guys
sure.
about. I mean, it's games. So we're constantly going to be gaming. We're going to be talking to all of you about games. So, with that, man, Lewis, why don't you close us out, bro?
Yeah, for sure, man. Getting to close out the first episode, man. I can't believe it. Honestly, we want to thank you. This has been a
Yes.
dream of Matt and I's for a long time. This has been something that we want to do and that we've been passionate about. We're passionate about video games. We're passionate about talking crap. Overall, we're passionate about the gaming community, and you guys are that gaming community. And we really hope that you can join us in the future for another podcasting session, lobby up with us, and really just soak it all in with us, man. We're all in the best timeline right now, playing the best games out there. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.
You have a good one.